What is up, everybody? Sysadmin Sean here, and we are on day 14 of the Linux Upskill Challenge, where we kind of go over different Linux commands for the basic kind of intro course of using the command line to manage Linux. And today's lesson is all about file permissions. So I kind of hinted at it a little bit in day 13, but we do have file permissions on any file, folder, all sorts of different things in the system. And they are broken down. As I said, basically this D means it's a directory, okay? But R, W, and X, read, write, execute. As you can see here, this is for user, this is for group, and this is for other or all. I call it all, it's usually other. So let's make a file real quick in, where are we? We're in root's home folder. All right, let's make a file. Touch file permissions.txt. And now we have that. And let's look at lsla file permissions.txt. So it's currently read and write by root, read by other, and read by group and read by other. So anybody could read that as long as they have permission into the folder, which not a lot of people do, as you can see. But we can modify this. Let's say maybe we wanted to change the people who could write to it. So we would use a command called chmod, and we would set the group to add write to that file. So if we look at it again, you'll see that we added write permissions to that file for the group, which is still root, so it's not like it matters. Well, what if we wanted to do other? There we go. Now I do believe A also works here. This might be all. So let's set it to X, and then let's see if all got X. Yep. So now that file is essentially what we know as, we call it 777. So that's another thing you can do here. Even though I'm using, user, group, other, or all, and then we're setting a W, an R, or an X, you can do chmod 055 file permissions.txt, and this will change it to read and execute. So those different areas, and they don't really discuss this in here in this lesson, but I'm going to cover it because I think it's a little important. Those have numerical values. So if we set this to, gosh, I don't know, is it 444? This is why they don't really discuss it, because I don't remember these all the time. So 444 would be read, write, read, right? So if we wanted to remove all's read, we could set 440. And now it's just read like it was when we built it. Well, like it kind of was. So now we need to add write. That makes it 640. Yeah, read, write, read. So there you go. And then, like I said before, if you're ever having trouble getting to a file and you need to test to make sure that something is working, it's not so much about the file permissions, you can just 777, and then everyone can do anything to that file. We could technically execute that, except it's a text file, so there's really nothing to execute. It would just fail. But it will give us the ability to file complete /. Now, what if we wanted to change who the owner was or who the group it belonged to is? Well, that's easy too. And we're going to use another command called chown. I'm double checking to see what they use on here because I don't want to. Symbolic notation. Yeah, they use chown. They actually show using change group. And then we could call it tiger mask. And now, if we look at that file, it belongs to the group tiger mask. I'm used to using chown. And then usually you can do like root, :root. And now it's back to being root. We could do the same thing. We could do tiger mask, :tiger mask, and now it belongs to tiger mask, and then of course we could just delete the file. It's gone. But that's really it. That's the basics of permissions. Again, the main thing to remember is user, group, other, and then A does all. So you can always do chmod A plus write file name, A plus read file names, A plus execute file name. Boom, done. chown lets you give files to different users, and change group lets you change the group. But you could also just type that. You could also use, you can do chown default, like, let's make the file again. Touch blah.txt. All right, lsla blah.txt. Right? We could do chown root colon tiger mask. And that works just the same as chgroup, as you can see. So if you can't remember chgroup, no big deal. Just remember chown and chmod. I call them chown and chmod, even though it's probably chmod and chown. But there are some extensions for this lesson. Managing ACLs in Linux, which I've never done. I should probably do that one myself. Access control lists are a whole thing. Networking folks are probably pretty familiar with them. They kind of work like networking ACLs, maybe. I shouldn't say that. I have no idea. And then there's a whole section on SE Linux and AppArmor, which you should learn how to use. You should absolutely learn how to use SE Linux, but here's what I've run into in my life. Any vendor that gives you a product to run in Linux, usually their step one for installing is please disable SE Linux. It does not work with our software. And all that means is they haven't wrote the proper SE Linux based rules to make the software work properly. Now, there are ways around that, and I'm pretty sure that's going to go into a lot of this, especially that SE Linux for Mere Mortals link that is in this extension. Highly recommend that one. But that's it on permissions, and we will see you on day 15 for deeper into repositories, which is going to be kind of interesting, but I don't mess with repositories that much, but it's good to know. And we'll see you then on day 15. Later.